Well, fellas, this is the time of year where you're going to see some crazy things going around, and some of the crazy things that have been flying around from David Schoenfield of ESPN. He was relating blockbuster trades that you see in the NBA compared to the MLB, and if superstars are going to get moved, who would get moved and what would it take? And the big reason why the Tigers are a part of this is because they have the #1 farm system in baseball to go along with the best record and the second best odds to win the World Series. So David Schoenfield projected a trade. He projected 3 trades, the Tigers being one of them, that would get the Detroit Tigers superstar Paul Skenes. Now, this is what he had to say prior to seeing the trade. Chris, if you could...
I don't know if I sent it.
Yeah, I don't think it's...
I sent it.
Where is it?
It's the 2 talking about...
Is this... Oh, wow.
I don't see it.
I see what he proposed. This is crazy.
It's in heavyweights.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, it's in heavyweights. I mean, should we propose it off rip, or should we set it up with the Paul Skenes? All right, I'm just going to read it out loud.
Go ahead.
It is from Nicholas Koloff. Paul Skenes, why they'll probably keep him. He's arguably the best starter in baseball, perhaps on his way to a Cy Young Award in his first full season. He's one of the biggest names in the sport, despite playing for the lowly Pirates. Basically saying, but Skenes is a pitcher, and pitchers get hurt. So if the Pirates are opening to listening, ... this would be the offer for Paul Skenes, and it promises you Paul Skenes and Tarek Skubal for the next 2 seasons at a chance to win a World Series. I'm looking at Spenny, and this is the offer, fellas. Chris?
Those are both your boys.
All right, give me 1 second. I got that one.
Those are all my boys.
Those are all your boys. You got a jersey for the one.
This is literally like 4 of my favorite young players on our team.
Fuck.
Probably
Here's
my
the
4
offer.
favorite young
So,
players.
let's be open before we shut it down. The Detroit Tigers offer Max Clark, the #8 prospect
mute
in
him.
baseball, Kevin McGonigal, the #11, right-handed pitcher Jackson Joe, who has undergone Tommy John surgery, infielder Colt Keith, who is the hottest hitter in baseball, and a right-handed pitcher Sawyer Gibson Long for Paul Skenes. Fellas, this would be an absolute all-in move for the Detroit Tigers. This is a projected trade by Schoenfield. This is not inside sources. I want that to be very clear.
This is
Yeah.
ESPN.
ESPN, David Schoenfield.
It's not even speculated. He's just saying it should. Yeah.
If it were to happen, the Tigers would be the team with enough to get it done.
No. And you can tell me I'm wrong. I'll hear you out. I probably am wrong. I don't know. Like when I was watching the Tigers long ago, I saw a rotation of Scherzer, Verlander, Porcello. I saw that fall short. So giving up that much in capital for one guy, you're not guaranteed to get it done. I don't know, dude. I really don't. I mean, that's 2 of your top 15 prospects, arguably 3 if you consider Job as well, who just got called up.
Absolutely.
And then, honestly, Colt Keith's been on one.
Colt Keith's been on one, and he's under a great contract.
Great contract as this continues.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
I am not hesitating for a second to do this trade if it was on the table. Yes, dude. Are you kidding me? You're getting Paul Skenes and Tarek Skubal. You're winning the World Series.
And Livy
this year.
Dunn, combo deal.
You would do this trade for sure. It's Paul Skenes is the crown jewel of any prospect or any player in the MLB right now with who he is, what he is, and the contract he's under. He is the singular best asset in the MLB right now. You would do this trade for sure. It's not going to happen, though.
Because they wouldn't do it.
The Tigers would absolutely do it.
Who do you think wouldn't do it, Easy?
The Pirates would not do this.
I think the Pirates would. Job was the #1 pitching prospect in baseball.
Yep, sure
After
was.
Skenes.
After Skenes. Because Skenes was already in the show.
So you're getting at that as a possibility of like being that.
Skenes was the Cy Young favorite as a rookie. He's going to win the Cy Young again this year. Well, he's going to win the Cy Young this year.
And I'd be honest with you, SGL in that as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
SGL's nothing.
I kind of like SGL.
No. He did. You're doing. I'm doing this trade, but like I said, it wouldn't happen. But you obviously do whatever you can to get Paul Skenes and put him with Tarek Skubal because you win the World Series this year.
Yeah, this is the most dynamic. I mean, even Verlander and Scherzer, they were so dominant, but this
would
more
be better.
dominant than
Yes, it would.
Verlander and Scherzer. I think Kevin McGonigal is going to be a superstar, but the fact is they've built this minor league system where we have Bryce Rayner, we have Bruceño, we have Lorenzo, we have a Chris Rodriguez, and I trust the ability to rebuild the system from what Scott Harris has been able to do in the draft, in trades, and signing international prospects. I'm at the point I trust him to rebuild this system. I think I would do this trade as well, Spencer.
For sure.
Because it gives you that ability, and you have Skenes up into 2030. I'm doing this trade, and even if Kevin McGonigal becomes a star, just like the way a CJ Abrams is becoming a star in Washington after the Juan Soto trade, even if James Wood and Max Clark, you look at the similarities just between top prospects that Juan Soto got traded for. So let me take a step back at this one. Juan Soto, superstar, young superstar, face of a franchise.
Yep.
Got traded for top prospects CJ Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, James Wood, Robert Hassel, and another guy I haven't heard of. But all of those players are on the Nationals, tearing it up.
Nationals suck.
Nationals blow, Spencer.
You know who's really good? The Mets are really good.
Yeah,
because they got Juan Soto.
This was San Diego, in which they ended up.
But yeah, I'm saying right now
for Michael King, who's
right
a great
now
pitcher.
the Mets have Juan Soto and they are good. The Nationals have all the guys that somebody gave up for Juan Soto and they're not good. It's if you could get Paul Skenes and pair him with Tarek Skubal, you absolutely do it. You would win the World Series this year.
So what do you have with Job then? Like, you don't think Job has the potential to be?
I think Job is coming off of Tommy John surgery, and no, I don't think Job is at his peak.
Long term.
Paul Skenes is going to be a much better pitcher than Jackson Job.
Well, how far off? Like what's
very far off? Like Hall of Famer to like a very good starter for a long. Like Job at his peak potential would be like, I don't know. It's hard to say what he would be at his peak because he has an insane amount. But Paul Skenes is already a Cy Young right now, and this is his second year in the league.
And this is a Schoenfield trade projections of the biggest superstars. Let me just reiterate that. Scott Harris isn't trading Clark. Scott Harris wouldn't trade McGonigal.
We're not saying
we know that
this trade is not going to happen. They're not going. You're not going to see Paul Skenes in a Tigers uniform. It's not going to happen. But if this trade was on the table, you would absolutely do it.
To be honest, the rotation with you still would have Olsen, you still would have Mize.
Yeah.
You still have Flaherty.
Yeah,
it'd be pretty.
And you still got Riley Green, and you still got Javi Baez and Gleyber Torres and Spencer Torkelson and Kerry Carpenter and everybody that you love.
So you would have to. You would be the 2013 team. You would have to cash.
You would
in
win.
For the next 2 or 3
you are
years.
going, and that's what I would do because if you win a World Series, nothing else matters. You win a World. You won a World Series.
You'd afford to pay those ridiculous contracts if you're like.
And you would do
send
it
out the park
if you got Paul Skenes, you'd win the World Series.
Verlander, Scherzer, Anibal Sanchez, Porcello, Fister? Was Fister there then?
Hell yeah.
and you still have
They came up short though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but you didn't have AJ Hinch.
And you didn't have Scott Harris drafting these players.
Yeah, and
respect for Jim Leland.
And that's again,
skip.
I love Max Clark and Kevin McGonigal. Even if you lose those two guys to get Paul Skenes, you would have like a top 10 farm system in the league. Like still.
NPW uses Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson.
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean, look across town. You saw a team that
hasn't
made the big move in the Detroit Lions that everybody's wanted.
Excellent.
And they played it safe, and you can argue that they've done everything right. And they still don't have one cashed in yet in the Detroit Lions. So I think that sometimes you just have to go for the risk, and especially if it's one like this, if he is this caliber of guy, a Cy Young, like
he's the best. He's the best pitcher in baseball, not named Tarek Skubal.
Yeah, then you got it. You got to do it. What are you talking about here? That's
and like it's
talking
two
about
games.
it.
It's by like you would have right now. It's arguable that the Astros have a better 1-2 than the Tigers right now. Like combined 1-2. Like obviously Tarek Skubal is better than both, but Brown and Valdez might be better than Skubal and Mize. if you get Paul Skenes, you'd have 2 pitchers better than Hunter Brown. Like it's not going to happen.
It would be an insane rotation.
It's not going to happen.
I feel like they would take that.
Ooh, the Pirates?
Pirates?
Yeah, they would. This is why that they said in the
They
article what would get the deal done or who has the best deal. It's obviously the Detroit Tigers. Like, what could actually get it done? It's the Tigers. This deal would actually... If the Pirates are actually thinking about moving Paul Skenes, I'm assuming the Tigers are the first organization they call.
And MPWMU says Skenes is only 23 years old. Like, yeah, this is his second year in the show.
Chris,
And
if you're
he's
listening,
the best pitcher in the National League.
Mr. Illich, it's Paul Skenes in Tiger jersey. It's doing numbers. Libby Dunn's coming here. LSU Tiger herself. It's doing numbers. You're going to make your money back.
You would also win the World Series this year.
And maybe next year.
And probably next year. But
Is Flaherty on an option, right? Or
Flaherty will still be
Player
here.
option.
He wouldn't opt out, though. He's not going to get paid more
that
than he's making.
rotation would be fucking
He's not going to get paid more
crazy.
than he's making next year after what he's been doing this year.
You could put Olsen in the bullpen.
I don't...
Now
I would
from
keep Olsen.
one
goes in the
one
bullpen?
savant to
Honestly,
another. Hold on.
You could trade him.
From
You
one
could trade him
You could trade one of your arms for more bats.
more
More
bats for younger talent.
Who would you put in the bullpen?
I would trade Flaherty again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I like Olsen a lot.
Contractually,
Gotcha.
I would trade Flaherty again, get another piece to bolster some of those prospects you lose, and then I would have Mize as my third, Olsen out of the pen. Skenes, Scooble, Skenes, Mize.
Nick,
Yeah, that's what I would do. If they did this, this would be unreal. Livy Dunn, I hope you like chili dogs.
From one savant,
Oh
from one
my
baseball
God,
savant
dude.
to another.
Whoa. They're called Coney dogs, Nick. Damn.
same thing.
Chili dogs, something else.
What's
Shout
the,
out to Coney for, like,
what's the
branding the
historical precedence
chili
of this
dog.
happening though?
No, chili
Like,
dogs
what's
and
the
Coney dogs are
historical
different.
precedence? Has a
Chili
player of
dog
that magnitude been
Coney
moved
dog
like
needs
that?
mustard and onions. Chili dog's just chili dog.
So for starters, this
thing.
has not happened often at all. I mean, you're looking. The
not
biggest
gonna
one of
happen.
this one is a Juan Soto trade, and the Nationals you can compare to an organization when they were after they went all in and they won their World Series. They were selling everybody that was expensive, and Juan Soto was due up for a big, massive deal, and the Padres literally had 5 top 100 prospects.
Yep.
3 of them in like the top 50. And a couple in the top 10. That's what they traded. This is the exact equivalent of Max Clark and Kevin McGonigal getting traded because they are. I mean, you're looking at, like I said, James Wood and C.J. Abrams are stars.
And
Mackenzie Gore's dominant.
It's
Like,
honestly better. I mean, I know Juan Soto might cost a little more because he's an everyday player, but also Paul Skenes is still. You've got so much time with his contract. He's making such little amount of money, and then
When's he
if
up?
you bring him to the Tigers, he wouldn't get the kicker in his contract for winning the Cy Young because he wouldn't win the Cy Young because Scooble would.
that's
So
wild.
so he wouldn't get the extra like $10 million kicker for winning the Cy Young.
Which is nothing in baseball money.
No, but it is when
Still,
you're making
yeah.
$700,000 a year, which is what Paul Skenes is making right
Yeah.
now for like 6 years.
Nick, are you pulling up his contract at all? Like, when's that a thing?
2030.
Jesus.
I mean, they have arbitration before that, but I think School's getting paid like $11
And
million this year, $10 million. Like
Yeah.
that's nothing.
To be honest, like, if you
It's not gonna happen.
are still hesitant on paying Scoobs, the return you get for him, and then you still have Skenes, like next year, I'm saying, not this year, obviously, you go in the World Series. But next year, if you don't want to pay Scoob,
Yeah, but the thing
you
is,
reload what you traded, maybe more.